Did you know the colors you choose can completely change the way people feel about your design or even your brand? Whether you are an artist, designer, or someone who just loves colors, understanding the color theory is your secret weapon to create stunning visuals. By the end of this video, you will know how to make your designs pop and your art unforgettable. Have you ever looked at a rainbow and wondered, why do these colors look so perfect together? Well, my friend, the answer lies in something called hue. But don't worry, it's not as complicated as it sounds. Hue is just a fancy word for color. Red, yellow, blue, green, these are all hues. Think of it as the name tag for every color out there. Let's take this red balloon. The hue here is red. If we swapped it for a green balloon, the hue would now be green. Easy, right? Hues can also shift. Imagine you are turning a dial on a rainbow. Red can now become orange, then yellow, and so on. This shift is what we call changing the hue. And every hue sits on this magical tool called the color wheel. The color wheel is like a map for hues. It starts with three main ones called the primary colors: red, blue, and yellow. These are the parents of all the other colors. When you mix two primary colors, you get secondary colors. Like red and yellow, boom, orange. Blue and red, that gives you purple. See how the wheel is starting to fill up? Now, if you are mixing colors that sit next to each other on the wheel, you will create even more hues. This is how we get a complete gradient of colors, kind of like making color babies. So, in simple terms, hue equals to color itself. It's the first thing you notice when you look at something colorful. A bright green apple, a bold red stop sign, or even a soft blue sky. It's all about the hue. Once you get the hang of hues, you will start to see how they work together to create art, design, and even mood of a room. But we are just getting started. Let's talk about what happens when we change how intense a color feels. Have you ever noticed how some color feels super bright and full of life, while others look soft, pale, or even kind of washed out? That's what we call saturation. And no, it's not about water or soaking anything. It's about how intense a color looks. Think of saturation as the strength of a color. Imagine you have a bright red paint. The higher the saturation, the more vibrant and bold that red will appear. But as you lower the saturation, the color starts to lose its energy. It fades and becomes softer, eventually turning gray. Here is a fun way to picture it. Saturation is like a volume knob for colors. If you crank it all the way up, the color will yell, "Look at me." But if you turn it down, the color whispers instead. Take this sunset for example. With high saturation, the oranges and red looks fiery and dramatic. But when we lower the saturation, the same sunset feels calmer and almost dreamy. See how that changes the vibe? In art and design, playing with saturation can help you set the mood. Want your colors to grab attention? Use bold, saturated hues. Want a softer, more relaxed feeling? Go for muted tones. You see, this is everywhere. Ads use high saturation to grab your attention, while wedding invitation often go for muted, elegant tones. Even kids' toys are designed with loud, saturated colors to stand out. Here is a fun fact. When a color is fully desaturated, it turns into grey. That's why old black and white photos don't have any saturation at all. They are just light and dark shades. So, to sum it up, saturation controls how vivid or dull a color looks. Bright colors have high saturation, faded ones have low saturation, and every time you adjust your saturation, you are giving your color a whole new personality. Pretty cool, right? It's amazing how much of a difference this one setting can make. But we are not done yet. Next, let's talk about how colors can go from light to dark. That's where something called value comes in. Have you ever wondered why some paintings or photos feel bright and cheerful while others seems dark and moody? That's all about value. And no, it's not about how much something costs. It's about how light or dark a color is. Value is the brightness or the darkness of a color. Imagine you are looking at the color red. If you add white to it, it becomes lighter. That's called a tint. If you add black, it gets darker. That's a shade. Simple, right? In fact, every color you see has a value. Even without any color, just shades of grey, you can still create beautiful art by playing with how light or dark those shades are. Look at this black and white image. Even though there is no color, you can still tell where the sunlight is hitting the mountains and where the shadows are. That's the magic of value. It helps us to see the depth and shape. In the color world, value works the same way. You can take any hue, like blue for example, and adjust its value to make it lighter or darker. A light blue might remind you of a sunny sky, while a dark blue feels more like the deep ocean. So to sum it up, value is the key to creating depth, contrast and mood in your artworks or designs. It's how you go from light to dark and bright to shadows and everything in between. Now that we have explored hue, saturation and value, you are starting to see how these three pillars of color theory comes together to create incredible visuals. But there is still more to uncover, like how color works together in harmony. Let's dive into that next. Colors don't just exist in isolation. They interact with each other to create emotion, balance and impact. This is where color harmony comes in, a way to pair colors that simply look and feel right together. At the heart of color, harmony is the color wheel. It's your go-to guide to understanding how colors relate to each other and how you can pair them for maximum effect. Let's start with something simple: monochromatic color schemes. These use just one colors, but with variations in lightness and darkness, like sky blue, teal and navy. It's a foolproof way to create a clean and cohesive look. Moving on, we have analogous colors. These are neighbors on the color wheel, sitting right next to each other like green, yellow and orange. They are naturally harmonious and often remind us of things we see in real world, like a soft autumn leaf or a vibrant flower garden. Analogous schemes are perfect for creating peaceful and unified look that flows beautifully without overwhelming the eye. Now, if you want something with a bit more punch, try complementary colors. These are opposite on the color wheel, like blue and orange or red and green. When paired together, they create high contrast, making both colors appear more vibrant. You have seen these combinations everywhere, from brands logos to movie posters, because they grab attention and create dynamic energy. Then there is the ___ scheme, which uses three colors evenly spaced around the wheel. For example, red, blue and yellow. This creates a balanced, playful look with plenty of variety, making it perfect for bold designs or children's products. The key to using a ___ scheme is balance. Let one color dominate while other act as accents. And that's a wrap on basics of color theory. And yeah, don't forget to follow me on Instagram. Here is my Instagram handle. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips, ideas and inspiration, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. Trust me, we have got so much more to explore. Thanks for watching and I will see you in the next video.